And we are back. Thanks so much, ladies and gentlemen, for waiting for that a little bit of a longer break. I mean, with the absolute fire that was shown to us by some of the players, I think they need to recharge their phone and devices to make sure that they're ready for the 3 more games left before we do know who will be making it over to Bali. Once again, my name is Max. I'm one of the commentators for today, joined by our boy Felix once again. And man, we had some great presence, and especially in this previous game, a lot of teams in the middle of the pack actually being able to step up, close that gap, and potentially maybe even having a shot to make in Bali themselves.
Yes, I mean, especially Turkey. I think that was kind of the storyline that we have to focus on. Very early on, they did have pressure being put on them from both sides. They went out very early, at least a lot of the players did. I mean, Sokai did survive for quite some time, but in the end, we talked about it, right? If you go out early or relatively early without big amount of frags, it will still count as kind of a bad round, and that's what they had. They didn't have a good round at all. Coming out straight after this massive win, that's going to put them down to their knees, and I'm going to be looking at the 4th game now for them to bring it back. As the gap, and that brings us to the leaderboard, the gap is not as big as you would expect it anymore. They did have a 12-point gap, but Ukraine, even though they did have a bad start as well, they, on the other hand, they made the best of it. They got out from outside the zone. They kind of fought their way back in. Even though they did lose a player at that point, they still got a lot of points, and you can see it right here. 47 is their current scoreline. That is only 5 points behind Turkey.
Yeah, exactly. 5 points there is not even just a top-tier game. That's just a few eliminations, potentially, and Ukraine could be on top. So Turkey can't afford to go out early like last game. Otherwise, you will give a great opportunity for your foes to be able to overtake that position. And as you said, a lot of the middle teams were able to actually rise up to the occasion in that previous game. And anyone, I would say, from North Macedonia to Romania, Armenia, Bosnia and Herzegovina have a chance of being able to compete for one of those top spots. Of course, it's going to require a lot of work and effort and consistency in these last 3 matches, but there is a chance. Unfortunately, if you're in 9th and below, I think that it's pretty much out of the question you'll be making it to Bali itself. But a lot of teams are now back in the race, and I think that this game in particular is going to be very telling of who will have a shot in the last 2 matches to be able to actually compete for that 1st place.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, we're still looking at the favorites right here, but I also got a shout out of Georgia at this point. I'm not too familiar with how much experience is behind this lineup, but so far they seem to be, I think, working well above expectations. Not sure about you, but I personally didn't know a lot of the players in this lineup. They seem to be very edge-focused, but they do it in a very good way. Also, this kind of domino kind of playstyle where you go straight from one circuit to another, it's been working out very well for them. I kind of see the same way it going for Turkey, but they didn't have that one bad round so far because Georgia has been more consistent than Turkey. The big round is missing for them, though, and that's the big difference between one and the first play right now, which is the lineup of Fireflux. So I'm excited to see Georgia maybe bring it out, maybe come out swinging in game number 4, maybe picking up a win for themselves, because I think that will make the leaderboard in the end one of the most interesting ones we could have in this 6-game match qualifier that we have today.
Yeah, I think hopefully for Georgia, we're expecting not have as a horrible circle as we had for them earlier, where they were just surrounded by nothing, had a 1 compound, and then their 1 compound is outside of the circle. We're just like, that is going to be rough, but still making it in a top 4 position. So you know what? Can't argue too much about that. They still were able to make their position work for as long as they possibly could. Though, here we go. Playing path, still not great. No, the Erangel playing path not been great. We had very Southern one in game 1, this one game 4. Last Erangel game of the day, by the way, of the tournament for the regional qualifier. Not the best if your team that likes to drop is Napoliana, maybe even a Saverni split, such and such. Definitely not a happy day for you. But unfortunately, you'll have to make it work, and secondary drops could be your saving grace. Though, other than that, not too many hot drops. And because this is a second iteration of Erangel, we're not expecting that weird hot drop happening in farm, right? Hopefully, everyone is going to be safe and sound, at least for the first few minutes of this match.
Yeah, playing path once again. I mean, we saw the first playing path in Erangel. It wasn't quite the most, how can I say, it wasn't the most loving one for the players. Yeah, it was, come on, it was bad. It was. This one, it's better, at least in some parts. But then again, I'll take it back. Well, the zone is quite interesting once again. It was good for the playing path that we had in the first game, and this one is about the same. Let's see. We have a first team in the Susnov community base, at least start to start. And we do have one team in Pochinki. Both these teams will have a lot of priority. Apart from that, all the teams outside the circle, actually.
Well, if you have teams in this lobby that were hoping to, be the dominators of Erangel, I mean, with these circles, I personally will send you an apology letter to your house, because that is just horrendous what we're doing now.
And a lot from you, Max.
Yeah, what's happening there? Okay, well, they're just getting shot in the sky. They're just doing some pull, bah! There you go, trying to get some fuel taps. Can I actually get a knock from that? I don't believe so. Yeah, they're out of render distance, so it seems unlikely. But well, that was a weird interaction. And unfortunately, that's what happens with these playing paths is a little bit bad. Players stretch their drop a little bit further, and some players already looted right below you, so they can take some pot shots. So it's a little bit unfortunate, but unfortunately for North Macedonia, no eliminations come their way.
Yeah, no. Unfortunately, not on this early game. Not really a lot of contests. I think there was one that was originally aimed at, where two teams wanted to go the same way. But I gotta check back when we see the map whether or not I'm completely certain. I think towards Pachinki, actually, I think two teams were aiming for it, but one of them dodged. Gotta check back on which countries these were exactly. Anyways, I mean, yeah, big rotation coming in. Landed on some vehicles, but are taking a long way around. It looks like they want to circle all the way towards the eastern side. But yeah, does look that way, actually. They're not stopping anywhere. I mean, Zavani should be free, judging by the plane pilot. I don't think anyone could have been faster than them, but I think they want to go all the way to... Huh. Where do they want to go? That's actually a good question. Are they going further than...
I think they might be trying to,
I think they're going even further than the bridge.
It seems like that's the game plan. I think that some teams are going to have to adapt a little bit because of this unfortunate plane path, plus also the circle, right? So there's going to require some teams to play out of their depth, potentially, a little bit. Have to see, though, over here, Novo. It was unplayed, by the way. You mentioned it in the first game, right? It was unplayed in the first match, so because of the plane path, teams are willing to play there. It is a very strong one. Stalwart, a team you might recognize from Mongolia, actually do play this spot pretty consistently, should I say. So yeah. It is definitely a spot with a proven success in the past, proven track record in PMPLs and such. So you're going to try and play the spot, even PMWI. They're trying to chase it up there. So many teams actually on the eastern side here. So I think a lot of teams here are pretty much expecting, I would say, Alex, island finish here, Millie Island finish, which seeing where the circle went, I wouldn't be too surprised. Still a chance to get back to mainland. So you've got to be careful. Alex taking a shot. Nice damage on the iron side on the M4. Another bullet actually connects, but does not come through.
That was really close. Oh, yeah, you can see it right here. One bullet was kind of missing to get that knock. Apparently, yeah, his teammates must have missed out on the communication, or he was just going for it anyways. But I do believe that player should have been known. All right, rotation coming in. Yeah, as we said, first time military base is inhabited, not only in the military base itself, but in What? Okay, Vitamin, you have some explaining to do, but I do believe maybe it was internet connection, maybe Wi-Fi just spun out. I don't believe that was intentional. I really don't.
I mean, the only time you get knocked by that is normally when you jump out, so I think maybe the timing is a little unfortunate, or something maybe has to do with my maybe some issues on this side. A little bit weird, Georgia, though, trying to cross the western bridge, should I say, currently. And making sure that the Turkish squad has nothing to do with that rotation. So good on them, and the fact that they cross first is going to make it a little bit harder for the Fireflux boys to really make that cross happen. But on the other side, there is a team also, so their team has a security. Here you go, just rolling on through, absolutely clapping it in now 2v1. And they absolutely overworked. But look at that in the distance, I believe. There's some players from Turkey, third partying in that spot. And it's actually Solus there, able to get involved in the elimination feed. He's done a few left on their way, one so far. And maybe get himself 3 in total. This could be a really good start for the Turkish team.
Oh, 100%. I'm very surprised that they already are, working to make this split work. That they are so aggressively looking for that bridge camp, because we're looking at the time right now, and they must have moved very early. You can see some of the Turkish players, they only have, you can see right here, 5 bandages. So they really left incredibly early in order to pull this off. The second player comes through, Solus. He did not, I think, expect slow-mo behind that rock, but it works out either way, luckily for him. You gotta say, another driver comes through, and yeah, look at that slow motion taken down the process. So, Fireflux recovering quite well in the Turkish team, making sure that pride is restored here after that initial knock.
Yep, 6 eliminations. Unfortunately, do lose Lux along the way, and we saw what that did in the first game, right down to 3, struggled to cross the road. Jiki and Dino just barely slips out of their grasp, so something similar could be happening, but still, 6 eliminations. They were already in the lead by, what was that, 5 points earlier? They already lengthened that lead to now 11 points, so if you really want to catch up, you're going to need a really banger performance. So, yeah, team's already sweating buckets right now, looking at that early performance coming out from Fireflux. So got to be a little bit careful, see how things are going to be panning out. But Circle about to close off. We're about to see the phase 2 shift, and of course that's going to be very telling. Is it going to go to the mainland? Is it going to go very close to sort of Northcote Island, or is it still going to be a 50-50 split? Currently we don't know, but it should be a lot more telling for the teams, and hopefully some good macro decisions will come through from it.
Yeah, 5 seconds until that happens. Going to be interesting to see for everyone. It's still very much in the realm of possibility for it to go north. And that doesn't make it any more clear, does it?
That doesn't help at all.
No, it doesn't help at all, really. Let's just skip that one. Anyways, Turkey's team still around the southern part of the bridge. They're really looking for it to go all the way into, to lean into the risky kind of play. They're probably going to put one on the one side and one on the other to have both of these options open. But I would still tend, just looking at this, right? If I would have to make a call, I would still tend towards the military base, honestly.
Yeah, it's a bit of a tough one. I would say if you're I keep on saying 5. If you got the Turks right now, I would say cross the bridge, go to the northern side of the bridge. That's where the center currently is, towards that compound north of the western bridge, and play the high ground position like towards that lighthouse and also the lower positions. As a 3-man team, I think is your best position. You want to avoid rotating as much as possible across those bridges. As a 3-man, chances are it's not going to work out. So I think that is the position that they could go, or maybe other teams could try and take for themselves. I think that would be completely A-okay. Though Primorsk also taken over by another team. Good in terms of loot. Not too much early game action, so they're going to be chilling for the time being.
Did I say Pachinko or Primorsk earlier on? I think Primorsk was actually the one I think I mixed these two up. I think Primorsk was originally the one, I think, where two teams were kind of...
It was, yeah.
Trying to get, their loot spot in. And one of these dodged towards the west side of the quarry. But yeah, now that I think of it, I do believe that was Primorsk, actually. Anyways, for both these teams, should be an easy rotation path. We can see with how many teams are already in the military base, they just have to have a lot of space on the northern side of it, and they do. So no pressure should really be on any of the teams, unless they decide to, right? Like in this scenario. Fireflux is going to be pushed, or rather the Turkish team, Solker by the name of it, but he's going to be rotating away. Is he going to make it, though? I think the cover fire should be there from Catch, but he gets spotted out immediately as well. Now, this is a very awkward situation, to be honest.
Oh, I think he shouldn't have stopped there. He gives an opportunity to get backstabbed. Does pick up some speed. It's a very hard target to hit, and he will make it over to Ketch's location. I want to see them regrouped as a 3-man. I think they were way too split, knowing that where the circle was, there was a big chance some teams were going to try and place on Northcote Island, so... do they really want to take the fight now? They've got knocks and they're feeling like, okay, we are unstoppable on top of the world, but they're so low, you can't afford this! Oh no, what is the Turkish team doing right now? They're going to try and go for the first stage, but I don't think it's going to work out whatsoever. And yeah, that is that was completely unnecessary. Sol is still trying to bring some assistance from the high ground, but yeah, as I said here, Alex, unnecessary. They could have just played for the long game, but tried to push their luck again, and here they're down to 1.
Yeah, especially since they already had a good amount of frags, and I mean, they're in a good spot in the circle as well, so all they really needed to do was lay back and let the other teams fight themselves. I mean, Solis did put in some work. He got that initial knock, and he's still looking for the last 2 frags. Why not? I mean, he's already overcommitted a lot in this match, but it doesn't work out. He gets taken out, but once again, I don't really understand it. The Turkish team had everything they needed. They had good spots. They were able to recover from that initial very big split that almost, put them in grave danger. So they were able to rotate back. They were essentially as a 3-man. Sure, they got that entry on towards one of the players, but that isn't necessarily a call for it to actually, be fought. Yeah. So, they did have, I think 6 frags minimum at that point already. So why go in and take that frag? I totally agree with you.
I feel bad for criticizing, the Turkish team, seeing how the chat is so supportive of them, but it is necessary. That was not the optimal play. There were so many options available for them, like crossing a bridge would have been so much better. Taking a fight when you already lost 1 player earlier that was Lutz. Yeah, I could talk about that for a while in terms of that not being the right play and what could have been done instead, but we'll have to move on as Romania taking their own fight versus one of the Ukrainian squads on the other side. A few shots taken back and forth. Element Tricks having some really good impact on the last game for his team. And now that the Turkish team's not here, this is an opportunity for them to rise up, but
oh, yes.
It seems like the Romanian team wants nothing to do with that. They do not want to give them any room for success. They're just trying to push their way around, trying to get the information. Nice little pre-fire there around the angle, but without a team, you have a team right now, it's a 2v4, but it seems very unlikely it's actually going to be working out. And he just doesn't have the information. Nope. Nice angle from Doran there with the DP. And now it's just a matter of time here. 2 eliminations to their name, and the rest of the Ukrainian boys are just nowhere to be seen.
Yeah, you think the Turkish team went out earlier, so you would kind of think in first stance that maybe that was the better game for the Ukrainians, and it very much could still happen. But don't forget, Turkish team did not go out without a fight. They already camped the bridge. They already got a couple of frags from there. I think 7 frags was the minimum they had. And, well, to be fair, it was deservingly so. Maybe the Turkish players did go too aggressive in the end. I mean, that's a criticism they can take. But it worked out for them. 7 frags is not nothing. Quite the opposite. It's a good round for them, especially since Ukraine now has problems on their own.
Yeah, I can see where the fixed team currently are standing. That's where I thought the Turkish team would have gone initially. I think it's a great spot because it was center circle at the time, and I think it was phase 2 or phase 3. So it would have been a good option. But currently, they are going to be gatekeeping that spot. It does seem, but Ferry Pier, don't forget Ferry Pier, all changed up, all modified. So you got himself some decent boat spawns. I believe at least this is the modified version that we currently are looking at. So should be able to facilitate the rotation from that spot to Sovnovka Island if that is their intention. Serbia. A few sneaky angles. Not going to take shots, of course, with that kind of distance, but at least they have the information that a team is there lingering in the shadows and should allow them to make some good plays. But Spain, a team that also has a chance to climb up because the Turkish team is not alive anymore. This fight, if it goes well, could set them a mile ahead of the rest of the other teams.
Yeah, 100%. And their position is not even that bad, right? We saw the circle. There's still a lot of room to be, played from, not only on the northern side, but also on the southern side. So, sure, we always debate what's the best way to cross the bridge, how to get onto the other side. But that debate normally includes a 16-man or 16-team lineup. This is not the case here. You have a lot of more opportunities, right? One fight, even at the bridge, one team fight could give you the opportunity to have a safe cross and a couple of frags. So the opportunities here are a lot easier, I guess, in some way than it would be with a lot more teams. Trying to cross as it is right now. And there's already a lot of teams out of these 10 teams that we have left on the other side. So, yeah, there is a lot of space to be taken as well. And Spain, I think they do realize that. They want to take it a little bit more slower than a lot of the other teams. They do take their time, rotate around, try to get some angles on towards the bridge. We saw that FTY team, I do believe it was, being around the glass house and the lighthouse. And yeah, who knows? Maybe we're going to see some engagement in that form.
Potentially could be the case. Spain trying to go for the wide wrap here towards the long forest position, long woods, as I like to call it sometimes. And good scouting position currently, edge of circle, so pretty much they will have to move eventually. But this 2-2 split, I think, is absolutely fantastic. This is the split I would have wished to see from another team, but so far, North Macedonia is the one that's going to be holding down the fort, and I wouldn't have it any other way. Though, things have significantly slowed down. We have lost quite a few players here. 2 teams already eliminated and a few players from some other squads. So things are a little bit at a halt currently. But Spain,
are they baiting this?
Baiting it? I don't know.
It's not really showing.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the typical one, right? That most of the time when I see teams bridge camp this spot, they just don't really want to show themselves too much and wait for a team to get too far involved in that push to cross. That's when you start taking the shots, especially because they have 2 angles, right? You want a team to be in between your 2 angles. So I think that's the game plan. So yeah, so far I don't have an issue with it, and can't wait to see if a team is going to be maybe falling in that trap.
Yeah, Spain could be the one. We're still looking at them. Still taking it slow. Next zone. I think that's a hard shift, actually. We don't see any of the white lines up on the mini-map right now, so that might make it a little bit harder. It could have still very much included some of the bridge, but I don't think that's the case. Hungary is still on the other side as well, but I think these are going to be the ones finally that do take a boat, and there you have it. That's the boats you've been talking about. Should be an easy cross for them. Once again, I think around the bridge itself, there's nothing on the other side. So crossing there, getting on towards the land, no problem at all.
Yeah. I'm actually surprised we haven't seen some of the buffed weapons from this most recent update. We haven't seen too much of the SKS or the Mini 14 that got buffed up in this version, but not too much. And oh man, Octavian.
We're talking about buffed weapons.
Oh wow. Can't wait to see that actually. Can he get himself a knock with that? Some good bolt action there. That would be cool. But
yeah, I really want to see that. Octavian especially as well. Not a bad play at all. Very experienced one at that. Very much seeing a couple of knocks with it.
Oh no! Wait. Why was a player of North Macedonia going for botation? Was that spot 9 circle? I believe it was. As you say, we can't see the end. I'm not sure where it went, but that seemed like a very unnecessary ball. Yeah, North Macedonia are getting absolutely obliterated. Popping up in the elimination feed. And Romania really good high ground position, a lot of information, and Serbia seemed like also spotted away, and Romania just picking up left, right, and center for very little risk.
Yeah, I mean, we were asking ourselves, when does Romania finally come into play? When, you know, when we're looking at the leaderboard,
Now.
and yeah, this could be the game. Like, honestly, I mean, Ukraine is what, down 2 players. I think Turkey is completely out already. When we've seen that fight, and Romania, sure, that might not be in the top 3 currently, but with one game, we saw how much that changed game 1 to game 2 in terms of Turkey. With one good game, Romania could be up there. And look at this. This is another frag. They already got 5, and they're in prime position. All of these teams, we can see it, 10 teams, 28 players. They've already lost 1 or 2, so that makes fighting a whole lot more easier.
Yeah, prime position to maybe get 7 eliminations if they make it over to the ridge. Of course, you can get knocked in water since like one of the most recent updates. Not the last one, but a few updates ago, so that's fine. Can get a little bit more info, but really, are you going to survive it? Not really. Oh man, that is such an easy shot. You can't rotate in that river. You're going to get shot. It is a death sentence doing that. So, look,
there's another one. Yeah.
Same thing's going to happen, pretty sure.
Yeah, I don't see them crossing either. Hungary, I think that was already them exploding right there. It just does not work. Yeah, Romania picks up. There are 9 frags. Are you kidding me? They are 9 frags. And look at this. Spain is in their crosshairs as well. I don't think it's going to stay on these 9. Serbia coming in from the back as well. They do have their angles and their eyes peeled on that as well. You can see Sexo is kind of trying to look around, trying to look for that last player coming in through the blue zone. But either way, 9 frags, that is already very impressive. And once again, all these other teams, they do have a player knocked, or 2 players even knocked and flushed already. So rotating, I don't think there's going to be too much of a problem.
Don't think so either. Oh my god, Octavian. I don't even remember the weapon name. I'm not going to lie. I don't want to try and flake it, but that could be some sick shots coming out from him with that weapon, especially in his hands in particular. That could be a very scary prospect.
Yes.
Yeah, the thing is now they're not in circle anymore, so you know that they want to deal as much hurt as possible before leaving that spot. Good spray down the car. I believe I saw it fuming there, but the explosion, no bada boom just yet.
Shot, by the way.
Oh, almost got it. Sorry?
Oh, I was saying it's the Lynx AMR.
The Lynx AMR?
Yes, the Lynx.
That's cool.
It is. But it's one that I've personally never seen in a pro match either. So, yeah, gotta check that up as well. But I have played with it already. It's menacing, honestly. It's a beast. It's like you wield a dragon, but in like a weapon form. It's crazy. The sound it gives off as well. We'll see. Anyways, a rotation coming in from Romania, and looks like they're heading straight for Luxembourg. The shots are coming through, so they are kind of rotating off. This Cav doesn't really seem to be hitting too many of the shots, but they do have to be careful still. Kapahala gets one on the rotate that thing on towards Luxembourg. I did see him in the kill feed right there. Yeah, Kapahala does get the flash as well currently in this Cav. He has big problems now as well. Armenia is looking at him from the distance, and I do pick that up as well.
They allow Romania to get too close, but right behind them, Bosnia are looking to push. Bosnia, Herzegovina are looking to get involved and maybe third party the entire fight, and Romania just fall down on their knees in submission. Kapahala can still bring this game back from the brink of despair for his team, but it seems unlikely. The time is not going in their favor. Kapahala is still there with Octavian. The deadly duo are still alive, but Perez, could it come through? I'm not sure. I believe I see Octavian right on top of the teammates, so I think the res is actually possible, potentially. Yeah, it is. He got one, and he's going to get the team back up entirely after being pinched in a position like that. They're coming back from the brink of death, and maybe have a chance to go for the win here.
Still on top of the Ridgeline Viking right here. I'm very surprised Romania did not lose any of the players in that quick skirmish that we saw. I mean, they did get shot quite heavy from the outside of the zone. Well, it looks like they made the best of it. 13 eliminations. Can I just put that out there again? 13 eliminations is the current leaderboard for the Romanian players. And yeah, we were asking ourselves, when do they come alive? I mean, when, if not now?
But they're alive, and they're making everyone else unalive, it seems. That's going to be their game plan, and it's been working out so far. Look at that push. They get the high ground, and how did you forget about Romania right behind you? You did not eliminate the team. They come back as a full squad, and now they are not messing around. They go for the push, ready to spray you down. Such an easy one, not a job shot from Sexo. Now they just take full control. They get full control of the southern side. The high ground is theirs. Suffer no casualties. This is the Romanian side game to win. This is theirs to win. They need to do everything in their chance to actually get this chicken dinner.
They do have the high ground. They have 17 frags, so they've got all the confidence in the world. And look at that, Spain. Sure, they're up there on the leaderboard, but they do not even have close to the amount of frags or to the amount of points that they could even potentially get. I mean, imagine winning this game. That's 15 points, but they already have 17 of them in eliminations, in frags alone. Look at this. Spain has only got 2. How else? How else is that supposed to happen if you clean the lobby alone? No one else can even get to the amount of frags that they do. First frag comes out, or first trait, I should rather say. Ukraine is still inside the rounds as well, so we gotta say, top of the leaderboard, still very much in life in this game, but then again, 17, that's a big, big difference.
I mean, they're in such a good spot. Octavia got knocked and they just suffered no issue from that because they're just in such a good position. They can res without any amount of stress whatsoever, without a care in the world. Though, Ukraine gonna have to try and push out. Good survivability right on the rooftop from Doran. And
wow.
Okay, that sounded like a nuclear bomb, not a grenade. God damn, what was that? And now they get even more free relay state and to get even more pressure down on the Spanish team.
And now we have something that we haven't seen in this final either yet. It is a 4-on-4 straight fight in the last, well, could be the last zone, phase 7 at least. Both teams are now trying to look for that first contact, for that first knock. And the first Spanish player is going to run towards the ridgeline, but Kappa Halag gets down, and that makes things all the more interesting.
Yeah, a little bit dangerous there for himself in harm's way before trying to cook that nade, so he will get traded away. But luckily enough, the team cannot push because they still have the high ground, and Octavian is doing God's work on that push. Kelly Boy trying to push his way away, just a little HP, 1 tick off 3 damage, and he's going to be down, and the pressure from Sexo plus Octavian is absolutely monstrous. Can they make it out alive? I don't think so. They're going for the 23 elimination game. No one can stop the Romanian squad. 23 elimination chicken dinner. Now that's the way to come back and to catch up to the Turkish boys for sure.
We were highlighting 2 teams at the start of this, and one of them, right, was Romania, and the other one was Turkey. Now, Turkey has already, they have already won that game, right? The second one, the one that we were expecting them to. But Romania, they have not shown that in the first 3 games, and now they come out winning with 23 eliminations. Are you kidding me? Are you absolutely kidding me?
In the 12-team lobby at that too, you have so many less eliminations you could get, and they just almost reach a record. Like our previous record holder, by the way, is 27 eliminations for 5 flux in the European Championships of spring this year, and they got relatively close, 23, with a 12-team lobby. That is absolutely unheard of. And yeah, they were catching up slowly and surely, right? But this performance is going to allow them to just leap so much higher in the overall rankings. I cannot wait to see how that will actually work out. But the domination, the fact that they just were able to come back from a 2-man crew back into a 4-man, take full control of the high ground position in that finishing moment. It's anything closer to like a perfect game, I would say, for them to execute and to just take away the win at the end.
Yeah, no, 100%. I mean, the experience just shows, but the way they won that game as well. I mean, surely, if you look at 23 frags, there's no way this could have been like due to luck or anything. But still, you just have to put emphasis on it. The way they started that game, isolated the players. Sure, they got a couple of them, I'd say, rather gifted. The ones that were, on the boats. These were fairly easy frags. But after that, they were under a lot of pressure. They breached that hill. They had to pass Luxembourg. Surely not so many bad aimers in that team either. And then they had pressure from the backside. They still made it out alive as 4, even though one of the players was knocked very early on. So they got back up, got on their feet, wiped Armenia in a very convincing fashion as well, drove the vehicles pretty much straight into them. So once again, that wasn't an easy win at all. That was very calculated and very well played, and deservingly so. I think that's going to be the first, probably the first place for them, actually.
Yeah, we'll have to see. But you know what? We're going to be checking out the overall rankings right after this break, so stick around to check that out.
It is time for the biggest IESF World Championship. More than 120 countries. Set your mind, set your strategy. Face the challenges. Break down the barriers. Bali, the island of gods, 2022. Are you ready to win?
match has ended and has now been rebranded to the Romanian show match because that was one hell of a chicken dinner. We saw earlier chicken dinner and 23 points coming away of the Romanian squad. And what a dominant win indeed when it was indeed, Falex. There, like they absolutely just clapped the lobby. And if they can do it again, maybe able to compete for that spot, making it to Bali 2022.
Yeah, I was wondering how they played that match because 23 frags, that's not without anything. But then I realized maybe they just took these on and just ran around, just clapped everyone. That's the only way I can imagine getting 23 frags in one game. It's crazy. We have 11 teams, they got 23 frags. That's a huge, honestly, that's a huge part in qualifying. And we already discussed that in the pause, or actually before the pause even. The last thing I said is, I think they might actually take the one spot now, the first place. Well, we have the leaderboards ready for you guys. And the fact is, they actually do. It's crazy. They actually overtook Turkey with that one game. That's how much a win actually means. And we've said in the first game, right? Good placements do not go all the way. You need to have the frags to back it up. And that was both. That was the both. Literally, the doesn't get any better than this.
Look, okay, I think I have to do it. Okay, so leaderboards.
Doesn't quite work.
So, okay, no, it's fine. I think my finger's broken. It's fine. They will keep on talking about it. But we do have the rankings should be coming up. But we're going to spoil you guys a little bit. Oh, no, okay, it's coming up. There you go. Just had a little bit of ping on my finger snap, but that's fine. But 64 points for Romania. And now you got Turkey 59, Ukraine 59, 50 for Spain. But man, that one game, and that's the thing, we said it earlier, right? Because it's such a short-term tournament, only 1 day of play, 6 matches total. One game can make all the difference. And in Romania's case, that's exactly what happened with that 23 elimination chicken dinner.
Yeah. Yeah, look at this. I mean, who would have thought before the game that anyone could, catch up to them? But not only this, I mean, Romania isn't the only storyline in this. Ukraine, sure, they didn't have a great game, but they still catched up. They still caught up. Look at this, 59-59. Turkey, if they do not have a great next game, and we know how important Miramar is because the last game is Zanhawk. Okay, let's not forget about that. So if they do not have a next great game, they could fall down as much as fourth, even third or even fourth place, essentially, because Spain is still very much in the mix. And I mean, Ukraine is tied with them. A lot could still happen. I mean, it didn't look that way after the third game, but now for the fourth one, it's all mixed up.
I really think there's going to be a lot of regret from the Turkish side because that we had a little of a in-depth conversation during that game about the play that caused, unfortunately, the demise of the Turkish team, but that was completely unnecessary. So I hope that it's going to rethink what their approach is to these last 2 matches, because another mistake like that, and I think their hopes of making it to Bali, at least to the main event itself, is outside the window, right? Yeah. So Turkey needs to be on point. Same for Ukraine, same for Spain. Pretty much a lot of the teams at the middle, I would say, like Armenia, Bosnia, and Herzegovina and Georgia have a chance to make it up there, but they just need an absolute pop off at the last 2 games. I would even have to say back-to-back wins, but so far no team has got themselves 2 wins, and I'm gonna do a wild bet here. And so I think this is maybe the one game where we're going to have a team that already got himself a chicken dinner, get a second win. And if that happens, that is definitely going to set you apart from the rest of the lobby. Yeah,
it could very much happen. Once again, we do have to put emphasis on this. Miramar, that's going to be the last 8x8 map we have in this evening. And we have seen Sanok. It was crazy. There's nothing else to put it than it was crazy, right? So having it as the last match, especially if you're on top of the leaderboard, that just means it's kind of like a wild card essentially. Yeah. So no one knows what's really going to happen on match number 6. So match number 5 has to be made. It has to be made accountable. They just have to put all their force, all their strength into this next upcoming Miramar game. The last time Miramar is going to be seen in this regional qualifying. And yeah, you said it. We essentially have half the teams not playing for it anymore, but I think maybe Bosnia and Herzegovina is still inside the mix. They have 36 points right now, which is still very much possible. But as you said, I think that's going to be a back-to-back chicken dinner that is going to be needed. Otherwise, I think, the teams are just too far spread or too far ahead up in the top 4.
Yeah, just an average result is not going to cut it now. You're going to have to need some banger games if you want to make it happen. Potentially not on the level of what Romania did. I think that's going to be a one-and-done kind of deal. I would not expect another 23 elimination game to happen today. That would be genuinely surprising. But hey, you never know. It could be happening there. But I think it would definitely help out whichever team will be able to secure that one. But 2 more matches, as we already said, right? One on Miramar, one on Sanok is down to the wire. Teams that are still in the race. One big mistake pretty much could put them out of the race entirely, right? So you cannot afford a bad game. And now more than ever, teams at the bottom that have nothing to lose here, Falex, have a chance to maybe ruin the chances for teams at the top. So we'll see if that's going to maybe change the approach of this game.
Wow, that's actually very true. We haven't really talked about that all that much. Plenty of the teams in the lower leaderboard, Hungary and Luxembourg, for example, they don't have too much to play for anymore. So meeting them on the battlefield is going to be all the more dangerous. And we've seen what happens if you meet maybe two of them at a time early on. We saw that happening to Turkey and Sanok. That was not a game you would like to relive on that Turkish side, especially not after the Erangel match went essentially the same well in the fact that they overcommitted and they went in for too many fights. So yeah, who knows? We'll all see it. And once again, I can just say I think this is going to be the most important map for all the teams in the top four. This is going to decide who's still going to be in the running, because if you don't do any points, you're in the fourth place right now, around 50 points, and you, as I said, you don't make any points, no eliminations, no placement points. Maybe who knows? Maybe not even a win is going to be enough in the sixth game to actually put you up on towards that one position.
Yeah, it's actually how super wild that it's this close. I think that you, me, and potentially a lot of people at home were saying, like, okay, you basically got the entire Fireflux team representing Turkey. Chances are they're going to pop off, get himself a bunch of wins, and they're going to create a huge lead and just take it easily, right? But the fact it's so close between so many teams at the top has got me super, super riled up. I'm really hyped to see how this is going to pan out. But what I can tell you right now is that this playing path plus phase 1 circle position absolutely sucks. It's god-awful. Yeah, I apologize to the teams once again, but unfortunately, you're going to have to make it work because you have no options here. Just do it.
Yeah, just do it. All right, Shia LaBeouf already told you guys a million times. We're gonna do it again. Just do it. First circle.
What?
Yeah, first circle is gonna be very interesting, actually.
Look at Puerto Paraiso though. That's
Oh, you meant Puerto? Oh, yeah. True,
yeah.
True. Didn't understand the first time, but now that you say, yeah, Puerto Paraiso, it's gonna be a contest coming in. I don't think we've seen that in the first Miramar match.
Yeah, it's a very weird hot drop on the complete super far southeast side of the map, so you don't usually see it hot drop that much. And who's going to be then? Going to be having some different teams here. Team also from Bosnia and Herzegovina. So currently in a really good spot. And this is a team that is contesting for those top positions. Maybe something intentional, something planned. And this team from Serbia is just trying to play spoilers. So if they die now, this could ruin their chance to make it to Bali. So they cannot afford to lose not even a single player. They need to stay on top of their game.
All three Serbian players very close to each other, and Bosnia and Herzegovina, they already kind of feel for where they are. I think they do have that information. First nade comes out. I don't think it's going to make too much trouble for them. And the angles are already very much spread, so I don't see any way for Serbia to get out of this. They're pretty much cornered at this point. Nox has already got the M249 ready and waiting to shoot any of the players from Serbia coming out. He sees the first one, and there's a Winchester on the other side. Sure, it's deadly if you actually hit it, but it's gotta hit in the first place, and that's the hard part.
Yeah, the hard part also is that you can't change the scope on it, so you're just going to be locked at a specific range where it's going to have top-tier accuracy, and this range is, I would say, a little bit too short for the Winchester to have full impact. I do like that it's sending one player, make it a little bit further, just swimming his way around, trying to create a severe off angle. That could really upset the position of the Bosnia and Herzegovina team. So, I have to see how that's going to potentially pan out, but nice early pick. There you go, Venom drops down. Now it's time for them to go for the full-on push, but it's traded in kind by Zmija. And maybe they can try and use that time to close the gap, or maybe we go for the res. They need to do something of it, but look at that. Also on the other side, they're going for the rotate. So it seems like off angles being taken by both teams. And right now, I'm just not sure who will be having the upper hand because of those off angles.
Yeah, I don't think they can deny that revive. You can see Omega still has the cross. That's probably the most important position for Serbia right now. Yeah. The best one you could have at that as well. But now the Reno comes in, and now Omega has to have absolute pinpoint accuracy. He's only got 10 bullets in the magazine, but you can see there's already one of the players all the way around it, and they do know where Omega is. I think they've spotted him. First player goes down. Omega has got the M249. Never mind the VSS, but the trade comes through, and there it is. Serbia is out in 12th place, essentially, in this last Miramar match. 3 points for Bosnia and Herzegovina.
Yeah, that puts them now tied up with Georgia in 5th position. So that's already a significant jump up for them. Those eliminations are massive and might have actually a long an impact if they're able to get himself a win on this game, and maybe also convert into a good performance in game number 6. So look back at this moment in time. It might be the moment that allows them to make it over to Bali 2022. We'll have to see. Though a team actually dropped down in Minas del Sur prison area, which is very unusual. But yeah, of course, I'm not really too surprised, unfortunately. We're seeing some teams as 3 players. Luxembourg is one of the teams that I would say is out. I mean, they're currently in last place, so it's 2 points. So some teams maybe not as willing to go the entire way. So yeah, down to 3 players for Luxembourg, very unfortunately so, but could still put a little bit of mayhem around the map.
Yeah, talking about mayhem, one of the teams that hasn't really shown us too much mayhem so far has been Luxembourg, unfortunately. Then again, they only started as the 3-man starting lineup we see right here, so that makes it all the more complicated for them to actually win team fights. So far, I wouldn't say I'm completely unimpressed though. I think they've gotten themselves into fairly good situations. As a 3-man lineup, that's really hard. Just the frags have kind of been missing in these sort of scenarios as well. We saw that in Erangel in the last match, for example. They had a good position up on the hill, but you know, if a driving PMPL player comes and just knocks you and flushes you, I mean, what else is that to do as a 3-man lineup? It's just not really much you can.
It's gonna be a bit tough though. Fireflux love their. Gonna keep saying Fireflux. I mean, technically they are Fireflux, so screw you guys if you call me out for calling Fireflux. I don't care. Okay, it's Fireflux. Yeah, massive split. 2-2 split currently. Yeah, we could even call it a 2-on-1 split over to the western side of San Martin. A lot of information going to be gathered and relatively close to the center circle, so can't argue with that one. But Armenia spots out some players there. Nice little one-taps on the Mini 14 that has been buffed in this most recent update, by the way. Mini 14 and also the SKS. So those weapons could be deadly if used properly, and in that case it did hit some severe shots, severe damage. Just trying to rain hell down with that Scar also, but so far, no one actually in jeopardy, no one in absolute danger zone, so it's just going to be a little bit of back and forth trade between those 2 teams.
Azerbaijan over the open field, looking to create some kind of trap for the Armenia players here out in the open field. And look at this, they've already trapped Alpha Meros. Backs against the wall now for him. I don't think he's going to last that long. I don't think the support from the city is going to be there in time either. Shots to the smoke. So far, no knock though. Emerus, he's shooting back now, and he's got the first bit of damage.
Oh, Emerus trying to go the entire way though. Sheriff, that nade could be good if thrown properly. Unfortunately, doesn't scope in, so that bloom shot, of course, is not going to have as many bullets as you would really like to. And Amorous does win himself that trade, but from the backside, Ghost Prime trying to potentially get the last word of that engage. That nade idea is there. The first aid comes through up to 70 HP currently. 75, should I say, to be exact. Even though numbers are not my forte so far, it seemed like that position is going to be looking good for Amorous. That nade. The cooking looked on point. Ah, actually, it was a little bit too overcooked before he held it enough. Now they're just trying to wrap around, eliminate the team. That nade is on point. Get so much damage. 1 bullet is all you need. And Azerbaijan so far dominating that position, but it's third party after third party. No one is truly safe here, Phalix. And so far it seems like Armenia really want to try and get that upper hand angle on that fight.
It's still very messy. Another one from the distance comes in. Yeah, Ghost Prime. You can see him here. Good spray. Will make it even more messy. 2 players left standing for the Armenia side. And I think at least flushes could come through if the nades work out well. I think that's the only nade he unfortunately has. Proof is still up on the Richland on the straight. And look at that. Wow, that is a good one, actually. He gets both of them. He gets both of them. That might change the outcome of this now. Both of the players from Armenia are not flushed. They're only knocked down. And they are in fairly safe situations right now to be able to get revived if they do win them.
The Turkish team got eliminated by the Ukrainian squad. Oh, that's massive. That is huge.
Really?
What we just saw. We didn't quite see the fight. The 2 players just got eliminated.
Oh my God.
I don't think it's the entire squad. No, we still got 11 players, but 11 teams. But they just lost 2. So, Turkey not looking amazing right now. Prop though, nice little shots with the EMP being traded back and forth. 18 bullets on the Scar. Is he out of bullets? It seemed like he's struggling. Oh no, okay, he's reloading. He's fine. Ghost Prime. Full clip. Back up, and a 1-tap for Viking are there. And he's going to show them how they do it up there in the north as they start to move in, and they lose no players in that fight. How in hell do you survive that as a 4-man crew? I have no idea.
Rise comes through. I'm not sure whether or not we should crown any of these teams a winner right there. But Armenia sure stands to gain the mace from it. Yeah, I'm guessing it is. But in terms of the grand scheme of things, I'm not quite sure if that's going to help them all that much. But more importantly, you were talking about 2 of the knocks. Solkai seems to be flashed. If that is really from the Ukrainian side, we're going to see that probably in a second when we have the Ukrainians back on the screen. That is going to change things 100%.
Yeah,
I mean,
especially
without
how
Solkai,
Solkai was impactful, right?
Yeah,
So,
that's what I'm saying. Yeah, Solkai definitely one of the most impactful players in that lineup.
yeah, Solkai and Ketch protecting the lane. Did not want to lose early game, but unfortunately he didn't have a choice in that game. Hungary got himself a nice little player there. City trying to just keep track of what's going on around him. His close vicinity. Nice little spray down with the M4, but nothing really of value comes out of that one, unfortunately. Just creates a little bit more space for himself and his team. But Circle, you know, closed up, pretty much centered between the position towards Crater Field and La Cobreria, so pretty interesting. We've got some teams that are going for some wide rotates, especially on the western side, so I think that some teams have some good game plans in mind, but you've got to be careful because those high ground positions get a little bit too close, especially off Crater Field, and that could be your undoing. So some high grounds could be really valuable, I would say, this entire game.
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, kind of like could be the motto for Miramar. High grounds could be important in this game.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, it could be the slogan. Miramar, where high grounds are invaluable. Yeah, great. There we have it. Yeah, they do have that one frag. That was beautifully seen by you. I completely missed that on my part. North Macedonia right below them. Ukraine has got one of the best positions, in my opinion, for that northern kind of circle. A lot of play area, a lot of information. Almost impenetrable, that defense up there, especially if you look at the current situation from Ukraine. They really have one hell of a game so far, or one hell of a qualifier so far, is what I should say. I can see them. Next circle, surely not going to go all the way down south. I don't think we've ever seen that, even if it centers a little bit to the west. Still a good position for Ukraine. Let's see how they deal with it. Yeah, goes way up north, and that is La Cobreria in the middle of the new safe zone. Interesting to see now how Ukraine adapts to it. Are we going to see a center sent? Because I can already see the Turkish team is very much on the northern edge of the city.
Yeah, they have to regroup, though, the Turkish squad. For sure, they need to get back as a 3-man. You want to make sure you use every single player on your squad. But this is very northern. Miramar, if you guys are not too familiar with the Miramar in esports, you do not see this much of a northern circle happen very often. It is relatively rare. You see them more south or more towards the middle of the map. But a straight up north, La Cobreria finish, that is very much out of the depth, I think, of a lot of these teams. So we'll see how they respond, hopefully in kind. As North Macedonia already entered into the more eastern side, a little bit split, many angles coming their way, and Ukraine have been in this position for a very long time, and you can already see it here. One elimination that they did get on the Turkish squad earlier in the game. So far looking good and pushing himself a little bit deeper inside La Cobreria.
Yeah, getting new positions. You can see Ukraine rotating through the city as well. Quickly changing his carb item. That's a good idea. If I were you, I wouldn't drive that car all the way further either. But they've found themselves some good compounds straight outside the city. Pretty good positions. Spain rotating by. Gotta be careful. Oh, these are easy frags for them, but Georgia has their eyes pinned on it as well. And there's another team rotating through, but it looks like Georgia has found the right bit of timing to actually make it through. Whereas Spain, well, they have to deal with 2 players less now.
They just thread the needle right there. The small amount of time when the Ukrainian team were reloading, that was the time they pulled the trigger and decided to go for the push. So I wouldn't say it was good timing. I would say it was very lucky on the timing for them. And luckily enough for Georgia that suffered no casualties in that specific push. But Sharasha was taken down a little bit earlier. Unfortunately, we see Sharasha get knocked quite a bit and flushed out early for Georgia. A little bit unfortunate with casualty, it seems, these last few games. But still a chance. But now they're in a position where they might get kept by Lutz. Nice spray, a little bit of damage will be dealt, but currently a lot of teams know that this is going to be absolute madness in La Cobreria, so they're trying to go for the wide wrap up north and west, which I think is a good idea, but a lot of teams have the same plan, so could have a little bit of a contestment happening here.
Luxembourg up on the hill. We're talking about them being in good situations, but not making the most out of them, unfortunately. And this could be the case in this round as well. Once again, they do start as a 3-man lineup only. So the big potential might just not be there. That is one hell of a spray. Armenia, unfortunately, sees them over the big distance. But Georgia is close by. This could be dangerous for them.
Oh no, that was such a risky play, but Bango74's got the high ground position with his trusty UMP. That's what he's looking for, the double swap his weapon. And Georgia picks up an easy double frag and get even more free real estate on the northern western side. That was, I would like to say, Freeland. They can get away, but they're trying to escape, goes right towards another squad of Luxembourg currently, and Armenia just trying to run with their tails between their legs, but so far only 2 will remain. 4 eliminations still to their name, but it's not the best kind of rotation from them, and it centers up on La Cobrinera. An actual city finish might be happening here, Felix, and I cannot wait to see who's going to come out on top.
You see that? I'm not quite sure Kevin's going to be the last one alive with Georgia. So there's the eye peeled on the Armenian players. They're in so much trouble right now. Even at this distance, it could get very dangerous. As long as they stay behind the rocks, they're safe, sure, but they want to close this fight with Luxembourg. They've already got the first frags. Now they want to make sure they actually get all of them on towards their leaderboard as well. Kev, you can see him still cowering behind that rock. Isn't quite sure whether or not she should peek. He lets him leave. He lets him leave. Maybe even arrive as possible. Is the question. That's the second player leave as well. So Armenia is kind of out of it for now, but they stop a ridgeline further. Kev gets spotted. Headshot comes through. And he's now pinned. He's going to get pushed. And there we have it. Kev is going to be out of this game. 9 teams remaining.
He didn't even get up. He just stayed prone the entire time. I think he maybe broke his ankle or something. There was definitely some issue right there. But peeking was not an option for him, unfortunately. Is this Kev? It is Kev, but Kev is dead. So that's an answer to that question, I guess. Though, moving on, good to see that the Turkish squad did, in fact, regroup a little bit in the closer vicinity. So that makes me happy. That puts a smile on my face. But as you know, they're not a full squad, and that's going to be a bit tougher in the city finish. Every single player will help when it comes to a city finish like this. Romania looking to finally push their way inside the compound. I think they wanted to avoid it as much as possible, but you know there's no option here. The truth is in the pudding that the final moments will be ending in La Cobreria. So Spain down to 2, getting naded up, getting mollied up, locked in this compound, locked in this building, and 1 player down to Keddy Boy. We saw him do miracles in the past, but can he make it happen here versus Ukraine? I'm not too sure. Pushes out. There's 2 players, 2 angles he has not witnessed. And Ukraine up to 3 limbs and remain as a full squad.
Very well played from Ukraine. That position from TD Poker was absolutely superb. And, well, props to them. They do have that confidence in that specific scenario to actually isolate the players and go for that team fight as well, which is very dangerous considering the situation they're in. They're at the top of the leaderboard. If they go out now, that might have been it with the qualification in terms of, qualifying for Bali directly. So props to them. Kudos to them. They're not scared of anything right now. And that's the kind of mentality you have to have.
Exactly. No fear, just fight, especially when you only have 1 day of play. You cannot afford fear to make you lose a few points. Otherwise, might be the reason you do not make it to the LAN event in Bali. Circle heavily shifted over to the eastern side. That split, though, that we're seeing from Romania, I think that me and you, Felix, already know that split is godly for them. If they can clear the team just right down south of their location and the circle keeps coming their way, we might be seeing actually not only 2 wins coming their way, but an actual back-to-back on this day of play out of 6 matches, and that would be monstrous for the Romanian team.
Next is up on the ridge line. One of the 3 players coming in from the Nexus squad, from the Nexus gaming organization, I should say, representing Romania. Once again in a really good spot. I'm not sure if the same can be said about Turkey, the ones that have to catch up to them. And honestly, looking at the position inside the city, all I can say is no, I'm not really. Position is not quite as good. We've seen a lot of the teams in these kinds of circles being on top of the hill that end up winning them as well. Just almost no pressure, especially now that Bosnia and Herzegovina is rotating towards the circle center as well. So even less pressure on them. And the big house right below that hill is free and open as well. That's the best case scenario you can hope for. So honestly, all eyes on them in this round.
This is massive, actually, I would say, for the Romanian team again. The fact that they just left without even wanting to take a fight, they just give that position. The next circle, if it's in any way, shape or form, going in direction of Romania, I feel like there's a big chance we're going to have to call that a win for them, because it's such a good spot. And you said it, Turkish team in a really bad position currently. The odds of the circle shifting in their direction and having them in the next circle as a whole is very slim, and they're going to be forced to take a fight. Unfortunately, it is a finish that's something you definitely want to try and avoid. Nice spray down from Cali. Not going to get too much done here. Ukraine trying to get a little bit more real estate in the south. But yeah, I think this is going to be a real trial for the Turkish team to come out on top, because if they die now, and it is a win for Romania, chances are they will not be able to come back in the last match.
Yeah, 100% agreed on all of that. On Macedonia, trying to get that entry towards the players that just rotated in, they just left the side of the Romanian players. The Romanian players, without no circle though, they do have to look out for some free real estate too, because while the big house just below them, it might be in, well, a sliver of it is in, but the real big player is still inside the city. Let's see if they find a ridgeline. North Macedonia still 4 men strong, we can see it right here. Georgia has rotated in through the north side, has kind of been pushing through that city and has to go even further with only 2 players left alive. That's also one of the teams that's still fighting for that one spot. They have got that 4 frag lead, I guess you could say, in terms of points already, but it's definitely not going to be enough. Looking at Romania still being a full squad, and Turkey as well, at least 3 men strong.
Okay, Georgia, here you go. You can see the smokes coming out, but I mean, so far no one's really looking in their direction, which is a good thing. They will be able to normally make that cross happen, maybe get above the other side of the road, maybe a few jump punches to make sure you just nullify the sound. Oh, no, okay, they're spotted out. I take it back. They know they're there. I didn't know there was a play on that roof there, so this is tough, and I would even say potentially impossible to make the cross happen, but here you go, the blue zone's there, and it's time to spray them down. Get himself already 1 down low. I think the blue zone might do the rest of the work, and Payne indeed does get picked up. Sandrick trying to go for a first aid there to close it off, but the blue zone is too much to bear, and that's it. Georgia eliminated in 8th position, only 17 remain, and Fireblood, the Turkish team, willing to go for the push onto Bosnia and Herzegovina team. Who's won? No. Turkey maybe falling down. The nade, the molly's coming on 3. He's put himself on fire. Kraken can't leave. An absolute obliteration. And Turkey, where are they? Oh, they got off. It's still there. I thought they died for a second, but oh my god, it's still a 1v2.
So Kraken gets taken out by the Molotov, but look at this. He still has a couple of nades on his own to represent his team and his country. And that's one of them, It's only catch now. He tries to go for the pre-fire shots, but they do not land. Second peak comes around. This might be the case. Now that Turkey goes out early, is that even thinkable, this scenario? They just haven't been able to come back after that initial win. And if they would go out early in this one as well, that would really be devastating in terms of qualifying chances.
He's got the first aid, instantly going for the push. Lut's going to get the res, but no catch keeps the hope alive.
Wow.
Turkey not going down just yet, but they don't have a lot of breathing time. Another team is slowly approaching their facility. It might help them out actually from Ukraine. Ukraine's got himself a great angle on the southern western side of the circle. And now ready to rain absolute hell in this lobby. So Armenia just trying to hold on to by the skin of their teeth, but man, Romania and Ukraine looking like big contenders for this chicken dinner.
Oh, they very much do. Happy Gel still playing around that wall side. Ukraine 4-man strong, Romania on the other side. Oh, look at that cheeky position Exo is in. Happy J does not see him. I don't think he's aware of this, but that's a lot of information for the Romanian side now. That's a lot of information. He must know that there's 4 players on here. Maybe Dorian can help him out. I think he's got a pretty good angle on it.
He sees the dog, maybe. Does he see the dog?
Oh, I don't think so. Does he?
I don't know if that's activated or not, but I don't think you might. I don't think you can see it. So
I don't think so either. No, I don't think you can see it.
I saw the Shiba. I was like, oh, the Shiba gave his position away.
Yeah, would have been pretty funny, but no, I don't think you see them.
Okay, that's cool at least. So they're going to be moving out. Oh, that's such a nadeable position though. Armenia, be careful though. Absolutely mowing them down. 1 player inside the bin, 1 behind, but it doesn't matter where you're put. You are not escaping the wrath of the Ukrainian team. Up to 5 eliminations. They're closing that gap severely. We saw also 5 flex players there also got taken away. 3 teams remain. North Macedonia have the 4-man squad.
Ukraine has been really doing a great job of kind of like circling around their edge and picking these isolated fights. They've created a lot of breathing room for them, as you would say. Not quite the case for the North Macedonian players that come in sneaking through the city. It's a different approach, but it works out quite well for them too. So, I mean, who's to judge? First nade comes out, and that's the first knock. Vitamin opening things up in this late game scenario. 8th phase that we are currently in. You have to imagine, I don't think it's ever gone that far in the qualifier games today, but now it is. Second knock comes out. I think that's the 3rd one as well. Romania is still very much inside the game, though.
Yeah, Romania trying their best, but unfortunately Dorian's going to be knocked away. They're just nading it up. Vitamin!
Oh.
1 Vitamin has this man taken. He's had all of them. He's absolutely shredding it in this game. But in that position, but it doesn't matter. Short get himself a knock. Can he actually come on top of the fight? He cannot. And Ukraine keep the hope alive, keep the dream alive with this chicken dinner here in game number 5.
That is massive. That is so massive. Sure, Romania was in the second place, but look at the frags Ukraine had. And that is a team that we did not have in our sights until maybe that third game. Sure, they were always there for some reason, but they weren't the most shining team. And that's right. They weren't getting at the win yet. And that is a massive win. We'll see. I mean, we'll see, but they're surely going to be on top. They're surely going to be on top. And now we have a game like Senna coming up. Who knows if that might not just been, the deciding win right now that in the end, well, sets the team up for qualifying.
Yeah, I mean, you got so many aspects of the game you got to take into account heading into this last match, right? Because Turkish team was not able to get as many points, I think, as they potentially expected. Second place for Romania, so that's a back-to-back. First place, then a second place in those 2 last matches. Ukraine actually finally able to convert one really strong performance into a chicken dinner. I think, as you said, there's a high chance Ukraine might be in first position after this, but it's so cool to see this change every single time. Like, who's in first place? It was at one point it was Turkish team, then it was Romania. Yeah. Now I believe it's Ukraine. As we thought it might be, right? It might be down to this last match. It might be down to a single point difference to decide who will be making it or not into Bali 2022 event. God damn, this is such an insane one. But you know what? With that said, Felix, I propose we head on over to a very short break, and after that, we'll be back for our final match of the day here for the European Regional Qualifier. Don't go anywhere.
It is time for the biggest IESF World Championship. More than 120 countries. Set your mind, set your strategy. Face the challenges. Break down the barriers. Bali, the Island of Gods, 2022. Are you ready to win?
This is, without any doubt in my mind, the best finish we could have asked for heading into our final match here of the European regional qualifiers here. And man, oh man, we had some great matches before this one, but it's down to the wire. It's down to this final game over on Sanok Phalanx. And you know what? I'm going to cut to the chase. We're going to get right into the rankings to see how close it actually is between our top contenders, because don't forget, only first place will make it over to Bali 2022. I can tell you, the competition is deadly between these three top teams.
Yeah, so we've had that storyline between Turkey and Ukraine pretty much since the second game, but it has changed now because Turkey has not been making any progress for the last two that we have seen, especially after the Sanhok game that really was lackluster. I mean, we can't really put it any other way. It was lackluster. They didn't really come back into it. And that win, even though it was a massive one, does not help them right now to gain any kind of leaderboard points. And you can see it right here. 85 points for Ukraine. That is massive. That is crazy. Romania has kind of still got a footing in the door, but Turkey is down to 67 points. I'm not sure, Max, how you're feeling, but they would need to have at least a game just as big as the one they had before to be able to still come out on top. Armenia, 52, Spain, 51. I don't think it's going to be possible, is it?
Yeah, exactly. I was going to say the only way that these two teams could make it potentially is if Turkey, Romania, Ukraine get pretty much a 0-point game, right?
They need to go out right away.
So that could be a chance for them to make it up. Otherwise, it's clearly between Turkey, Romania, and Ukraine. Turkey, they're going to need the stars to align if they want to make it to Bali. They're going to need not only, I would say, a win with a few eliminations, they're going to need Ukraine and Romania to have a god-awful match, right? They're going to have a horrible match. And this is where the hot drop comes into play. Turkey is like, okay, it's down to the wire. It's the one opportunity. We need to not only get a lot of eliminations and get a chicken dinner potentially, we also need our top two contenders to get swiped away very, very early in the match. What is the way to do it? Hot drop in, negating early rotations from those teams in particular. I think this is where your 10,000 IQ kind of plays and strategies should come to fruition to make sure you can overcome the competition in the final hurdle. So Turkey, we know that they're a team that can be aggressive, a little bit topsy-turvy sometimes. You saw on that Wrangle match earlier, but I think this is going to be the wildest match yet to make it up in that Bali event.
Oh, yes, 100%. I mean, even in the grand scheme of things right now, even though we have, in theory, only 2 or 3 teams that can still make it, it has been crazy in terms of storylines. You were telling me that in the pause right now. This is not without a storyline in itself. This tournament has been really, really close. I mean, from the clear favorites, including Romania as well, with, now after games number 5, we still have essentially 3 teams that could still make it, and Turkey's not even on the top spot right now. I mean, that's the craziest thing, right? I mean, we have the European champions right now in a professional kind of environment. They've been the best around their region, and they still can't, after 5 games, be on that top spot. Quite the opposite. They've been caught in very precarious situation now for not only 1 game, but for 2 games. So it's definitely not without suspense. Definitely not. Still, I gotta say, Turkey, I know we've been saying that now. I mean, it's a big difference. They have to make a massive game. Who, if not Turkey, would be the best in terms of storyline to not only come out in terms of actual possibility and chance to win it, but also, as I said, in terms of storyline, right? In terms of straight story. How cool would that be? And they would actually take this game now and qualify to the main event in Bali.
Yeah, I think it'll be a great thing because you got quite a few teams are going to be making it to the qualifier event in Bali itself, but here you get a ticket to the main event, basically the quote-unquote finals of the event, you would almost say. So that is definitely going to be the goal and the achievement that these teams are trying to reach, but it's not easy. And I can see right now we've got currently some spectating view over in Sanok. We're ready to get into our last match very, very soon, so better be ready. Hopefully you got yourself some nice drink and popcorn. If not, you still got a few seconds to do so, so don't worry too much. Get nice and comfy. But man, Ukraine, Romania, Turkey, 3 teams, 3 regions you want to look out for coming into these matches, because it is going to be damn close. And I mean, I don't like doing this too often, but because it's so close between all these teams, I want to say, do you have a team you would predict / would like to see potentially be the first place squad at the end of this match?
Man, I want to say Ukraine. I mean, they have worked so hard for this, and 85 points in 5 games. That's a massive amount of work, honestly. And that, I mean, even without, a win before the last game, I got to say. But let's just take the last map away. Even without the win, they've been one of the most consistent teams, if not the most consistent teams, at least from the ones that haven't gotten a win yet. And we've said how important that win actually is. So them now standing in top with only 1 win, does not come as a surprise. So I gotta say, I think Ukraine, they're still gonna have a great game. Even the 6th episode of this absolute thriller of this movie, I guess you could say. And I do gotta go for Ukraine. just from the pure gameplay alone. How about you, Max?
Just to double down also on what you said, the fact that they were so consistent makes that win even more valuable, right? Because they stepped up even more. They were just always in the race, but that win is just boom, leapfrog like 3, 4, 5 positions in a single match alone. So pretty mental. So I agree with your pick, but I feel like I let down Turkish fans because I was supporting the Turkish team from the start, but like Romania has also impressed me when it comes to their wins in particular. That Iran goal earlier we saw with the 23 limbs, oh boy, that was insane. So yeah, I would like to see Romania potentially be on top, but anything is possible. Anything of these 3 teams of Ukraine, Romania, and Turkey could be getting their plane tickets to Bali in December and try and showcase that they're one of the best teams in the world potentially. We shall have to see. But anyways, all the teams are now dropped down and already Romania and Ukraine, a little bit too close for comfort, but lucky enough, no early eliminations coming out.
Yeah, as you said, a little bit too close for comfort for at least a lot of the fans of these 2 teams. We've seen Ukraine have a pretty exciting early game, the first episode of Zenhawk, in the first 3 games we've seen, but it didn't work out too well for them. They still got a lot of points, but it could have gone very different as well. And now seeing them again, at least close to players, is once again kind of a surprise to me. Let's hope for all the Ukrainian fans out there. We see a couple of them in the chat. Let's hope that it works out for them. So far, then, at least not in immediate danger, right? They see the players on the other side. They are aware that they are there, but they're not looking to engage that as of now.
Yeah, it's like when a dog is barking, you're just like, okay, I'm not going to get too close, otherwise they're going to bite. So you know that at least that position is going to be protected, defended. It's going to be occupied, currently, you would say. So I would be careful. But he is getting a bit close. Like, Octavian, no, I like you, man, but be careful, mate. You're playing a little bit with fire, I would say right now. You do not know who's here. And I think they just think it's free. They just think it's completely open.
I think so, yeah.
You would have seen the parachutes. There's no way. Unless you really do not look behind you. That is cheeky. Massive. That is massive. Ukraine, first place, gets a knock and elimination on the second place team and lengthen that lead of 1 point. Ooh, that's tough for the Romanian squad.
That's not only a player less, but that's 1 point towards the gap of these, right? We have set 6 points difference. That's going to be 7 points difference now between the first place and the second place team. And once again, ladies and gentlemen, if you're thinking about what's going on here, right? What are these regional qualifiers for? It's for the main event in Bali, Indonesia, and that's a qualified ticket for the main event in Bali. So it's not anything. There's a lot on the line. Let's put it like that.
Also the biggest esport event in the world. It is going to be the biggest in terms of like how many players are going to be present at the venue. There's going to be the Guinness World of Records there, by the way. So I would say definitely not an event you want to miss out for, because we're about to make history over there in Bali. So you know what? A decent plane ticket you could get for free, I think would be pretty worth the while. So definitely not time to throw, guys. Definitely not time to throw.
So yeah, we have a couple of questions in the chat here right now. Is it only 1 day, 6 games, and first place goes to Bali? You have read that perfectly right. Yes, exactly. It is the 6 games we have right now, and is the first place that goes to the main event in Bali. There could still be invites for a couple of these teams. I don't think they're announced yet. So even though a team doesn't qualify here, it could still happen that we see them in Bali, but not in the main stage directly. That is for the first place in the regional qualifier that we have at hand.
Yeah, exactly. They'll have to fight their way through the qualifier in Bali itself to make sure they can play the main event and fight for a decent amount of the prize pool that I'm not sure if it's been announced. I'm not going to say it. I don't want to get in trouble. So
100K, I think. Am I going to get in trouble? But I think it's 100K. Yes, it's
You're done.
Should
You're
be public. Up. Yeah, if I get in trouble, then it's me. But yeah, it should be 100K, which is massive.
Massive amounts of money. And we'll see, hey, if it's the same system here, like, imagine it's just 100K for the first place team only. Okay, I don't think so.
It's 50, 30, and then 20 as far as I'm concerned. So the top 3 get the money, yeah. That's how it should be. So 50K for the first place. It's still massive, though. Imagine Firefox coming in there, right, as the Turkish representation, fighting it out for them. And imagine now not qualifying here, but getting invited anyways, and then actually winning 50K. I mean, that's a very real possibility with how strong their lineup is.
Exactly. I mean, I think that there's definitely some mistakes that I think they're going to be learning from today, right? Especially that Wrangle game. I think they've still got a very sour taste in their mouth. So we'll see
as sour as it gets, yeah.
A little bit unfortunate to see, though. Romania, oh man, they get catching no breaks right now. Sure, they get the elimination, so that lead has been closed off a little bit. No catching up to Ukraine. It was a 6-point lead. Now it's, no, it was a 7-point lead. Now it's back to a 6-point lead. So getting back there, but still losing Octavian. That is a massive massive L you do not want to take. So it's time for them to go get a second, hopefully, and get himself in a good spot. But the blue zone already going to be engulfing the entire position, it does seem. But the circle itself, I mean, no one's really in the center circle right now, so it seems like teams are really just trying to gatekeep on the edge, especially on the west, right? So some interesting action could be happening there. And Ukraine in particular, some gatekeeping towards bootcamp could be unfolding, so going to have to stay aware of what's going to happen over there. Oh, whoa, circle. What have we done today to deserve this? That's three horrible circles in a row in 3 matches. What?
That's what I'm asking myself too now. Look at this. At least Georgia is still going to be in somewhat of an okay spot in terms of rotations. But they have got their fight on their own. Armenia is going to be right in there. Going to metal it out. Revive comes through at least. One of the players from Armenia is still knocked far out in the distance, so support is nowhere close. Question is, do they want to go for this? Georgia, they know they have to go all out. They have to pick up all the frags they can, which is why they started out in their first phase already. They've got 3 eliminations, which is pretty good for the amount of time that has been played. And I don't think they're going to stop here. I think they're going to go for these frags, and they need to. If they want to qualify, they need to. They need the biggest game of them all.
Exactly, they need to. They just don't have a choice, really. It's go all in or go home, and I think that right now that is their intent. 3 eliminations, as you already stated, but need to go the entire way. Can't stop halfway currently. Viking had some good presence in the final match here. We'll see if he can also get himself some decent presence. But the amount of water, like technically speaking, because of the amount of water present here, we're basically already in phase 3, I would say. So we're gonna speed run this match. We'll have to see how teams are gonna be adapting, but a few shots taken back and forth there, a bit of damage taken, and also Spain taking their own fight versus players of Ukraine, actually. So that's some extra point. Is that... Wait, okay, they flushed it. So now we're back to a 7-point lead for the Ukrainian team against Romania. So it's a lot of back and forth between these two squads and them lengthening their lead. Now they're going for the push. Viking surrounded by foes of Georgia.
Oh.
There you go, going out. In the FPP too, but...
No.
It's just done. See ya.
Yeah, no, that was never a possibility in my mind that he was going to get more than a knock there, maybe more than 2, well, maybe more than 2 knocks, but even that was a bit too much. So yeah, Armenia down to the 2 players. Georgia still, as we said, looking out for these frags, for these LMs, and they're doing it the right way. I love that approach. I love that kind of play style. And they read the situation really well on the leaderboard. This is exactly how they need to play. And so far, it's been working out great. 4 eliminations. It's the 8th minute, as we said, or the 9th minute. They're starting right now. With 37 players on the board. They need to hurry up, though. That is Ukraine. That is the leaderboard. The current leaderboard champion, as I should say. And they are getting frags right away. Happy J, you can see him. His individual skill, peeking left, right, and center. Getting the frags over that distance. It's not a problem to him. And that's why they are in the first place right now. Because of individual performances like the one from Happy J.
Might be able to get the res, though. That elimination could be massive. I mean, can he get it? Then the phase 2 blue zone is going to tick pretty severely, but not that much. It's still like phase 1 damage pretty much. But nah, he's going to get the res. That's fine. Can also get himself the heal off with a first aid potentially. But Happy J, why not doing that in PMPL Western Europe, mate? That was some clean shots we just saw. Hopefully we can see a little bit more of that in future events. Do we see him actually play? But yeah, Spain able to heal up from their wounds. That's massive. That's huge. The blue zone still pushing in. And Vitamin! This man has been non-stop popping off. Popped off last game in that Chumacera finish. And La Cobrera finish, should I say, on last match on Mirror. And here, once again, getting that perfect off angle. And they just clearing this position. Spain absolutely clapped. There's Vitamin down below. Making it over to the tree. Unfortunately, no, but it doesn't matter. They still get the knock from downtown. 5 elims for them. And I think that this squad wipe here, already be their ticket over to Bali.
I don't know. I wouldn't go that far because honestly, they would still need a couple of points. I mean, Romania and Turkey are still in technically, are they not? Oh, I say that, but suddenly is it only Solkai now? Is it only Solkai now? I mean, he tried to catch, but it didn't look like he was gonna kill him. Okay, no, so that was actually the first down. So the original down that we saw, Turkey has been down already. At least one of the players was not a flash. Look at this. Oh, that is just cheeky. Come on now, Solkai. Come on now. Looking to secure a second frag, and I think he's gonna get it too. So Catch didn't die for nothing, I guess, but still somewhat. I think still somewhat. Yeah. I don't think they're confident with this. I don't know.
I love how he just accepted his fate. He just saw the bug. He's like,
yeah, he was. Yeah,
it's time.
It's been nice, guys. It's been great qualifiers. Just head off.
Yeah, just set off. Peace out,
I
guys.
guess. Yeah, peace out.
I love that. I love that meme of like the little kid that just like
Yeah, that just vanishes.
See, and just vanishes. Like
Yeah. Peace out. Yeah, that was him. That was exactly him.
yeah, just a buggy had something to do with it this time. But you know what? That's fine. Buggies did nothing wrong. As a driver, you got to blame. But anyway, the North Macedonia team still up as a 4-man. Maybe not for long. Hunter going to be hunted down. Gonna run back. His tail between his legs. Back up on the high ground. But man, there's still so much water in this phase. What is going on today? These circles are horrendous. How do you deal with this? I mean, I would just close the PUBG Mobile app if I was these guys. Like, goddamn.
Yeah, it's definitely tough to play, and you can see it on the way they do play it as well. A lot of players fighting outside the blue zone, and with that being said, we have 9 teams, and there's still fights outside of the actual safe zone. I mean, that has to give you some kind of an idea on how tough this circle is, really. We haven't seen that all day, and suddenly it starts in game number 6. But that makes it all the more interesting. Georgia, for example, picking up their 5th frag, not only fragging against Romania, but fragging against Armenia as well. Both of these teams had very tough rotations in, and obviously the circle had kind of it had its fair share of problems that came with it. So, phase number 3, 9 teams, 27 alive. I still think all of the 3 teams are still in the game. So, Ukraine, Romania, Turkey, sure, some of them have been more damaged in the early game than others, for example, Romania, but they're all still in. So, the possibility is real for all of them.
I'm looking at Turkey's spot. They have an amazing 1-2 split. It's great. Lots of more towards the center side of the circle. You have Solke and Solis serving as a duo on the western side of Kampong. The amount of information coming from that spot alone is insane. And also, if a team tries to push, it's an uphill battle. They should be in a really good spot. And the circle centers right on top of them. Lutz, I want to see you in a buggy in a few seconds. Regroup with Solke and Solis. This is your one opportunity to get a win, get a smack ton of eliminations, and maybe make it over to Bali. So, Lutz, no time to think. Regroup right now and make sure you can defend in case the Ukrainian team down south pushes on you, because that is a great entry point for Ukraine also. So, a lot of opportunities. It's interesting to see, though, I would say, Alex, who is going to be seizing the opportunity at the end.
Oh, definitely. But first of all, there's going to be more shots coming in from Georgia. Got to remind you guys out there, they have 43 points. Sure, they're not up there, but they are fighting. They're still fighting in this last game, and that is something I can respect very much. Sure, they might not wipe this whole lobby. Even if they do, they might still not qualify because Ukraine has already gotten a couple of points. But still, it's that kind of mindset that you need in order to actually be successful. And I gotta hand to them. Honestly, a lot of respect towards them. These guys do not give up. They still want to frag. They still want to show some respect on towards their country as well. So to any Georgia fans out there, yeah, do not be sad. I think they're putting up one hell of a show.
Yeah, I think it's very important to take every game seriously, because you never know when an org is potentially watching, like, oh, these guys actually have some potential. Let's pick them up and train them. So every match might have an impact on your PUBG Mobile esports career. We'll have to see, though. I saw a few players jump punch in there, I think, approaching some compounds on the northern side. So gotta be a little bit careful. That's going to be potentially panning out for you. Romania in the water currently, under the water. Too much raining. Ooh, trying to make it in, but with the numbers they currently lost, I think the odds of a chicken dinner are very slim, unless they can maybe do a little sneaky backstab on what Lutz's position. But them actually getting himself the win out of this seems unlikely. So they're going to need an absolute godsend to make it happen. And Kapahala is he's not going to get godsend. He's going to send to the depth of the ocean, it seems. And that's a great elimination for the Turkish side.
Yeah, absolutely. Solkai. Yeah, we can see him taking out Kapahala. That could have very much been the case if we were in a European Championship as well. So that's kind of the level of play we have here. This kind of kill feed definitely shows that, well, this level of play is not without a challenge. Definitely isn't. 4th phase as we have it right now. 4th circle is what I wanted to say. 5 looks, aka the Turkish side, still looking to clean up that eastern side. There's still one player left of the Nexus lineup, but I don't think he's going to survive for much longer. And there we have it. Player goes down as well. Kampong Circle 2. So not even that bad for the Turkish side, honestly. You were saying we might have to count them out, but with this circle, I'm not quite sure anymore.
I don't know why they moved to that spot. I don't know why they went northeast so far away. Sure, you're going to be able to gatekeep teams trying to enter from the ocean, but the long-term repercussion of that, in my opinion, is just not a great macro play. I think there were so many options that were much better. Regrouping on where Solis and Solke were was, in my opinion, the key player. Now, you left that position, you're getting space over 2 teams, especially the Ukrainian squad, to get a good position. I think they might have just lost their cut from this game. I think that maybe just lost the opportunity, but Georgia, great spray down there. Get himself that elimination confirmed. Up to 8. Man, Georgia, where were you earlier? This is a bang of a performance. Looking for that 9th elimination now, and they get it done. Maybe aiming for the double-digit elimination game, but they got a long way to go to actually get in the circle.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Ukraine still standing strong. 6 frags. Looking for some more Macedonians to get up onto their scoreboard. 1 dice to the blue zone, unfortunately. Look at this Vitamin. In a very precarious situation. UMP on that range normally isn't the strongest of them all, but he gets the job done anyways. And now, just 3 player remains. 5 teams is it now. Turkey still alive. Macedonia still alive. But most importantly, Ukraine is still alive. And that's the important thing for Turkish side as well. If they do want to qualify here, they need to take out all of this lobby, and especially the Ukraine ones.
Vitamin was such a heavy lifter for the previous fight, so without him, can it make it happen? It seems like Happy J can indeed. Great UMP spray. Not Macedonia though, struggling on the distance. Another knock will come on through, but they're actually getting helped out by Georgia. Oh, thank you so much, Lord, oh Lord. Things are going fantastic there for the eliminations. They are the ones that want it. Happy J behind you. Where's that shot coming from? I'm not too sure, but he was a little bit surprised, a little bit flabbergasted by that shot. But Georgia as the 4-man. I think that the Ukrainian squad just maybe don't want to take this fight at face value. Maybe want to leave it, but look at the circle. Turkey are getting more free real estate by the second pushing into the circle, and the circle does not even go in favor of the teams to the west, so Turkey still has a chance to get the win here.
Yeah, they very much do. As I said, Kampong, that was just too good of a circle for them. And they have 7 frags. Now let's just calculate here. 7 frags.
What?
But Ukraine has got... Oh, Ukraine's dying. Ukraine's getting shot at right now. And look at this Turkey.
Wait.
They've got an open field between them and their circle now. So 3 shots onto Georgia.
Oh,
that's
what?
1, that's 2. That might be a 3rd one. What is happening right
Soulless! Soulless! This is the perfect game. This is the perfect opportunity if you want Turkey to just snatch away first place. If they can get the elimination of the Ukrainian team too, this is huge. Get another elimination. Who got that one? I'm not too sure.
now? They see the main play as well.
Can he get Lutz back up? Can he allow him to... Does he have any smoke? Use the smokes. You have smokes. That's always smokes available. Use them. Get Lutz back up. And this is pretty much confirmed the chicken dinner. You have the best spot. And with all those limbs, I mean, the fact he's hitting off too hard.
Oh, this is going to come down. This is just going to be an absolute nail biter. I'm not quite sure. He's got a couple of first aids as well. As soon as he doesn't have any first aids, he might even potentially be able to still have an impact inside the circle. Well, now the reviver's up, so not that easy anymore to have that kind of impact. But he's still got that 10 points that he gets from 3rd place. And Armenia, sure, they might not win it, but maybe Turkey does. But it's still only going to be a 5 points difference because look at this, Ukraine has got 9 frags. And sure, Turkey might pick up 1, maybe 2 more, but I still don't think that's quite
massive.
enough. Ooh, Lords gets taken out very low, but it doesn't really matter. He still gets taken out by the blue zone. Whether or not that was a knock, I don't think he could have confirmed that either way. So both the Turkish players are up right now. They need that last frag, but I don't think it's going to be enough. It really depends. We're going to see the scoreboard afterwards, obviously. But it's going to come down to an absolute nail-biter. It already is.
Yeah, I think they spotted out that player. The nades are looking clean already. Pretty close. Just a few meters missing currently. Takes a tick off the blue zone. But yeah, I think that Ukraine might have made it. We'll have to see how close it actually is. I think the point disparity was too big before this match. The chicken dinner will just not cut it when Ukraine gets a 3rd place. But as you said, we'll look at the leaderboards afterwards. But that still means that Turkey will have been able to get himself 2 chicken dinners on the day, which is big. Amorous just trying to sneak. Maybe get himself a sneaky little upset versus Turkey. A 1v2 is definitely something in a realm of possibilities. They just cannot spot him out, it seems.
Armenia currently the 4th place team. They had 52 points going into this. But then again, that surely isn't enough. Doesn't matter how many points they would have gotten in this match. It wouldn't have been enough. There was just no way for them. But still, they fought their way into this. Over the northern side, they came and saw and conquered kind of almost. Already took down a lot of the players that came through their edges. And now it looks like it's going to be the last shot of this match. He's already down inside the blue zone. It's going to be an easy one for Turkey to pick that up. But Maxman, I am not sure this chicken dinner is enough. The difference was, I believe, 18 points before this. Ukraine went out in 3rd with almost 10 frags. I'm not sure.
It's down to the wire. It's definitely the type of game that we expected from the Turkish side if they really wanted to push themselves in that first place to go straight to the main event in Bali. But the fact that Ukraine got a third place and was a decent amount of elims. What was it, 9 at the last time we saw them live? I think something.
Yes, I think it was 9 actually in the end. And I mean, the last one didn't
19. I don't think so. Okay, you know what, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to check out the leaderboards to see who will be going to the main event in Bali. Going to be seen who's going to be the champions currently of the European regional qualifiers for PUBG Mobile. And it is going to be the Ukrainian team with 104 points that will be making it to the main event in Bali 2022. Wow. Congratulations to them and close try for Romania and Turkey.
Wow, congratulations to Ukraine. We're going to be seeing you guys in the Bali main event. No need for playoffs, no need for any further qualifications. You guys have booked your ticket, and on top of that, it was well-deserved. Honestly, the most consistent team in that qualifier today. Congratulations again. And still, congratulations to Turkey as well, to Romania, to all the participants, especially Turkey and Romania. These guys have played their hearts out for you guys today, and it was very close. In an alternative universe, who knows? Maybe Turkey would have picked out their last game with a couple of frags more. I mean, we've seen them today with already a great accomplishment of what was it, 23 frags, I think? No, I mean, that was Romania, true, but still, 12 or 13 frags in their win, however much it was. They already got their chicken dinner for today and was anything else but bad. So yeah, once again, congratulations to the ones that are on the top right now, and especially Ukraine.
Yeah, I think that Dr. Strange would have seen one of the realities where it's actually the team that actually make it, so it's definitely out there in the realm of possibilities. But man, oh man, Ukraine actually keep the dream alive. And as you said it multiple times during the broadcast today, right, Alex, hyper-consistent team. The show wants to get in that final match, don't get himself a win. They still get 9 eliminations and a third place finish over on Sanok.
Yeah.
And that one chicken dinner they got in game number 5 over in La Cobreria finish really sealed the deal, sealed the fate in their hands that they were going to make it to Bali, right? Be in the first place team. Absolutely fantastic. And really, some of this, I'm going to be completely honest. This is a team that was not really rating too much in how some of the players were performing in PMPL Western Europe. But now I see this and I'm like, I want to see this type of performance translate into what we're going to be seeing in the next few weeks of PMPL Western Europe, because this is a team that has impressed me, and not only them, I think a lot of other teams has impressed both of us, right? Georgia, Spain has shown some great moments. Bosnia has also been able to give himself some good presence from time to time. Bosnia, Herzegovina. So I'm pumped. I think that a lot of teams have shown what they were truly made of, and I hope that we can see these rosters potentially come back in the future.
100%. They've shown us great potential, and as you said, we're going to see them somewhere in the future. Nevertheless, congratulations to anyone that has participated in this qualifier. It's been an absolute blast, especially also to the teams that maybe haven't shown us today, at least, the greatest of performances, but still fought for their team. I mean, we were talking about Georgia. These guys really pulled through in the end. They almost would have had just as much of a good game as Ukraine had in the last moments. They were really fighting for the respect and the honor that comes with representing their country. So yeah, special props to Georgia, to North Macedonia, also Azerbaijan. These guys have also had plenty of support in the chat. So props to them. Serbia, Hungary, Luxembourg, all these players for showing up today and giving their best. So congratulations to all of you. It wasn't enough, but you still put up one hell of a show today, honestly.
Yeah, I was going to ask you if you had any finishing words, but that seems like some finishing words right there, so I'm not going to go too much into that. But once again, thanks so much, ladies and gentlemen, for checking out today's broadcast. It's been an absolute pleasure to bring you all this cool and fun actions out of these 6 matches. With that said, don't forget, this was just a regional qualifiers to make it into Bali 2022. That's going to be happening in early December, so mark that down in your calendars. You definitely do not want to miss out. With that said, my name is Maximan, join us, Alex. Absolute pleasure to bring you the action, and we'll see you next time in December for the Bali event.
It is time for the biggest IESF World Championship. More than 120 countries. Set your mind, set your strategy. Face the challenges. Break down the barriers. Bali, the island of gods, 2022. Are you ready to win?